Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Just got done at the gym, about to head over and start my day of work. But today's video is going to be a big hype video for the big DVD Blu-ray set that's coming out on Tuesday. I know a lot of people are jumping ship from the DVD sets and they're just counting down the days until the network comes out. And I know some people that even have DVDs. I have a DVD collection of wrestling. Are going to skip over this DVD because mainly we already have them, we already got it. Basically, that was the thought I had until I just started really looking into the set, seeing what they were going to give us. I really want to see the Shawn interviews that are on here when he talks about a whole bunch of other stuff, but mainly, almost like when I talk about the CM Punk documentary, The Best in the World, to get the Blu-ray because of the special features stuff. I don't think that stuff's really going to be on the network, and this is stuff that I really, really want to see. A lot of good stories, the ins and outs. He talks about the Twin Towers. He talks about Pamela Anderson, Jenny McCarthy. They have behind-the-scenes video of him and Sid talking with Nicholas, the guy from NYPD Blue. A whole bunch of stuff interacting with all the Wrestlemania celebrities that were around in the day. But today's video is it's called the Top 10 WrestleMania Matches of Shawn Michaels. Honestly, when I sat down to make this list, I did not think this was going to be this hard. I honestly thought that I'd be able to knock this out and make a top 5, but it was way too hard. I had to go all the way to 10 because there was like 7 to 8 matches that easily could have been in the top 10. We're going to start at 10, and then we're going to work our way down to the big number 1 slot. Number 10 is the Rockers versus Orient Express from WrestleMania 7. Awesome tag team match. Too bad this match ends in a count out. I believe Fuji distracts Jannetty. Jannetty's not be able to get back in the ring before the 10 count. If this had a finish, it would be a much better match. Honestly, one of the better Rockers matches that were on WrestleMania. They fought the Twin Towers. They fought Warlord and the Barbarian, the Powers of Pain, and this is a good one. I've always been a big fan of the Orient Express. The Rockers and them work really well. A really fast, high-paced match against each other. From there, we go to the WrestleMania 23 match against John Cena. Honestly, in my thoughts, when I think about this match, is how, when Shawn Michaels came back in 2002, he was just supposed to be that guy who wrestled at SummerSlam, and, that was supposed to be it. He'd already, quote-unquote, WrestleMania wrestling retired. And he just sort of came back and worked a show, and then worked another show, and then next thing you know, he was on the full-time roster, and he didn't leave for a long time. We got a rebirth of Shawn Michaels, something that just really wasn't supposed to happen. He found out that he loved wrestling. He didn't mind going out there and working on the road and making that money because it was something that he was really, really good at doing. And, the Cena match only really happened because of a Triple H injury, and they filled it in. And some people can debate if maybe Taker versus Batista should have headlined that show. But Shawn and Cena really did it right, and that was an awesome match. Coming in at number 9, Shawn Michaels against John Cena. Number 8 on the list, John Cena. Oh no, I'm all fucked up. I apologize. I don't know why I wrote Cena's name for this one, but this is the birth of the new era of the WWE, WrestleMania 14 against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Honestly, this match in my mind goes down with like a Money in the Bank 2011 show where the fans don't really hijack it to take it over, but the fans just build to how great the match is and make it that much better. Everybody was hyped. Everybody wanted Austin to win. I think that maybe the internet hadn't exploded to the point that it is now, where if somebody was going into WrestleMania injured and you knew that they were leaving, almost like Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19, it makes the match really, really predictable that who's going to win. And maybe if we would have known that, we would have known that Shawn was leaving to get back surgery and that he wasn't going to be around anymore. Maybe we just would have known it was a slam dunk and Austin was going to win. It wouldn't have been as big as it was. But number 8, Stone Cold Steve Austin match. Everybody can remember that was made bigger by Mike Tyson being there. The next night, everybody turned on Monday Night Raw to see what happened, and that's when the tide turned. WWF started winning the ratings war again and never looked back. Number 7 on the list, my first WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels against Undertaker, WrestleMania 26, the streak versus the career. I think the storyline was better than 25 because you had the whole thing with Well, basically 25 was built around the streak as well, but 26 was, Shawn Michaels' career was on the line. You had almost the year-long sort of storyline of Shawn just saying that, he only made one little small mistake, and if he didn't make that mistake, he was going to be able to beat The Undertaker, and it was going to be all she wrote from there. Shawn went in there, wrestled the best match he could, but he wasn't able to come up on top, and he almost had the same moment that he did with Flair, going face-to-face with him, and then Triple H had the same thing, too. All of them have gone up to Taker saying, all right, I can't do it, just put me out of my misery, and Taker just, dropped the tombstone, boom, and it was over. But an awesome, awesome match to see live. I didn't believe that Shawn was really done until I drove home and I saw Monday Night Raw the next night, and I was like, that was it. That's the end of an era. We're never going to see Shawn again. I mean, we've seen Shawn. He's come back and done this and that on Raw, and he's been at every WrestleMania since in some capacity. But no more wrestling. Shawn Michaels out there. Number 6 on the list. I really wanted to put this in the top 5. I really wanted to, but just there was other matches that were better. Shawn Michaels against Ric Flair, WrestleMania 24. I think everybody, gets a tear in their eye. When Shawn has to super kick Flair. Flair called Shawn out. He said he wanted to go out on top. He wanted to have the best match he could. And, he basically slapped Shawn around, saying that, I want you to give me your best. Don't feel sorry for me. They ran the storyline on Raw the next night that, Shawn sort of felt like the whole roster was looking at him like, how could you really beat Flair? Now Flair's retired, and, he's not going to be around on Monday Night Raw anymore. And Flair had been a guy that had been on top of the company, well, all the companies that he's worked for years and years and years. We all know that it wasn't the end of Ric Flair. He got a new chapter in TNA, and maybe a lot of people would like to forget that. But an awesome match, as Shawn tells Flair, "I loved him," or "I love you," and then super kicks him right in the mouth, and it's over. Number 5. An awesome, awesome WrestleMania match. I think a lot of people know this is good, but I think there's a lot of people out there that don't know how good this match is. WrestleMania 19 doesn't really get the respect it deserves, but Shawn Michaels against Chris Jericho, an awesome match. A lot of people look at Chris Jericho as being the sort of new Shawn Michaels if he would stay around and always be there. A guy that can go out no matter who the match is against. He can always pull out a good match. I don't think a lot of people were expecting the match from Jericho and Fandango last year at WrestleMania, and that just sort of shows you how good Chris Jericho is. And you have the whole thing where Jericho's wrestling his so-called hero, the guy that he sort of planned out his whole career and said, I wanted to be like this guy. And, it seems like they sort of make up in the end, and then just Jericho kicks him right in the balls and walks right on out. An awesome ending to the match. Number 4 is the match that nobody really wants to talk about, the 3-way at WrestleMania 20. I honestly just found out how Shawn got into this match, because of course Triple H was the champion. Chris Benoit won the Rumble that year, and just before the Rumble this year, we watched the Royal Rumble match between Shawn and Hunter that ended in a draw. They basically used that to milk his way into the WrestleMania match, and it worked. And they clicked. They put on a really, really good match. I understand that there's a lot of people out there who just really can't sit down and watch this match because when they see Chris Benoit, they think of what he did to his family, and it just sort of takes it away. To me, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch a Chris Benoit match, but if I did, if I'm watching something and it comes on, I don't really jump for the remote to switch it and change it, Of course, everybody makes the jokes that they make when they think of Chris, but if you just sit down and watch his matches, it is what it is. Of course, this match isn't going to be on the Mr. WrestleMania set that's coming out on Tuesday. There's been no real answer to why it's not on there. A whole bunch of people think that WWE is, blocking Chris Benoit out, but the whole talk about the network is that he's going to be on there. So maybe Shawn was just like, hey, can you just not put the 20 match on there with Benoit? It just probably make him feel a little bit better. I don't want to put it all on him, but they can't really think of a reason why they wouldn't put it on there. Number 3 on the top 10 against Razor Ramon, WrestleMania 10 ladder match. This was an awesome match. Of course, this was the first, I guess you can say, real mainstream ladder match for the WWE. They had done a match at a house show, I believe it was in Portland. Bret the Hitman Hart had brought this over from his dad's territory. It was a match they ran up in Calgary. And they did a lot of matches up there. If you go get the ladder matches, one DVD, I think, or maybe it's on the best, on the Bret the Hitman Hart Best There Is, Best There Was. There's a match, but I think him and Bad News Brown. I haven't watched it in a long time, but you know, Bret had brought it to him, and Vince had sort of promised the first time they do a ladder match that Bret could be a part of it, so that way he would be, you know, part of the legacy of bringing the thing in. But Vince stole it for an angle. Of course, everybody knows Shawn had left. You know, one of the times when he just sort of picked up his bags and walked out the door. Everybody likes to throw things at CM Punk, and nobody ever really brings up that Shawn has done this many, many times in his career. But then again, a lot of people that are wrestling fans now, I apologize, weren't wrestling fans then. And I dropped my list. I only have 3 more matches, but I should be able to knock this out. I shouldn't have picked it up, but I apologize. But if this match didn't happen at WrestleMania 10, even though Shawn lost this match, Shawn probably wouldn't be the star that he is today. It really shot him up the card. If this was 10, WrestleMania 11, WrestleMania 12, it took 2 years. But WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man with him and Bret, even though it's pretty boring, it's not on my top 10. Once you see it once, it's hard to go back and watch again. I watched it once as I was a kid, and I really milked it out until the Bret vs. Shawn DVD, The Greatest Rivalries, came out. I watched it on there, and it's pretty much just as I remembered. You know that it's going to go 1 hour plus. There's not going to be any falls. It's a whole lot of holds. Not a whole lot of fast spots in it, and you just can't do it. But you know, without that match, I don't think Shawn would have got from the mid card to the main event. Number 2 on the list. This was tough and this was hard, but I've always stuck to my guns with this one. WrestleMania 25 against The Undertaker. I think that when these guys were paired up, I don't think anybody believed that they were going to have as great as match as they did. And where they were on the card, 3rd from last. They almost flattened the rest of the show. They sure killed Randy Orton versus Triple H. Really, really crazy. Just nobody cared about that match, but they didn't want to fight. It seemed like, you know, like they did all the angles of Hunter breaking into Randy's house, you know, throwing the damn sledgehammer through Randy's window and going in there, and you know, Randy's wife is yelling, and then when they come down to it, they just sort of stare at each other. They lock up, you know, after they let all the announcements go on. If they really wanted to kill each other, they just sort of ran down there and just started beating each other up as soon as they saw each other in the ring. But Taker and Shawn, I mean, except for the one spot that they did, but which I guess is a big rest spot, no one's ever really came out and said that, you know, Taker was really hurt. But to me, when I remember watching that match, I thought Taker was dead on the outside when he dove to the outside. The cameraman and Shawn weren't really able to break his fall. He just sort of landed right there on his neck. Shawn seemed like he was buying time with the referee, let the referee count all the way to the end of his count, and then sort of broke the count. And I don't know, and then Taker just sort of got up, and I figured he was just going to get in the ring and, you know, take the fall and just get the hell out of there somehow. But they kept going, and that's what really was just like, holy shit, what the hell? You know, the whole Shawn was from heaven and Taker came from hell. The opening was just really cool. I mean, all around great match. Number 1 on my list was WrestleMania 21 with Kurt Angle. This is an awesome match. Awesome match. I debate this with my buddy Ravi, who's a big Kurt Angle fan. He says that when Shawn walked into that match and you start watching it, it's almost like Kurt had Shawn Michaels beat from the beginning, but it was sort of just like the 2 best wrestlers at that time captured in one ring. A whole storyline was built up around eliminating each other at the Royal Rumble, and they did the whole thing where Angle was going to do Shawn's whole career in a matter of a month, where they had like a mini Royal Rumble on SmackDown, and then Sensational Sherry. They brought back fucking Marty Jannetty and the Rockers, all sorts of stuff. But that is my top match. Just the 2 best guys really going at it in a real WrestleMania classic. If you want to sit down, you want to watch a good one, watch that WrestleMania 21 match with Angle. Because that's one of my favorite wrestling matches of all time. That's going to be the first ones that I really want to pop in. I really want to see what Shawn has to say about it. It's too bad. Hopefully they have some stuff left from the vault that they can put Angle on there talking about the match. But that's the best. on Tuesday. Run out, pick up Mr. Wrestlemania. Get the Blu-ray set, get those bonus features. You'll be happy. It's Shawn Michaels, everyone.